Congrats on killing the competition. This movie, it was intense. It was intense. You starred in it and you were also the EP for it. What drew you to this project?
Yeah, I've had a long-standing relationship with Lifetime and I've done many Lifetime movies and have transitioned to some of their true crime stuff, which is so fun because I over the years I've had a love-hate relationship with drama over
Mhm.
comedy. And so I've really enjoyed diving into some of the psychosis of like some of these characters that I get to play, whether it's a hoarder or a woman, an abused woman who turns around and, you know, tries to protect her family, or in this case, an overprotective mother. So we developed this for a long time, and I wasn't so sure I wanted to like act in it, maybe just direct, maybe produce. And then the script just came together in a way that I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I want to do this. I want to play this character and I want to dive into this because it's absolutely absurd. It's one of these stories that you're like, this is stranger than fiction. Like, did this really happen? And of course we embellish some areas and we make it really juicy and fun. And it was like more juicy of a role than I've ever played and the villain, which I haven't played in a long time. So
You were great in this. It was very interesting to watch. It's crazy that it's like slightly based on true events. For our viewers, can you talk a little bit about the character that you play and what it was like diving into that role?
yeah, I play the mom of a teenage girl, and I also have another younger child, but I kind of ignore him because I'm so focused on my daughter. And basically, she is a woman that's going through sort of a midlife crisis, I would say. Part of that is that her children are getting older, don't need her as much, and that she's also doing that dangerous thing that parents can do where you live vicariously through your children. So she's living vicariously somewhat through her daughter and wanting the best for her because, parents, a lot of the time, parents are the only people that aren't jealous of their children doing better. They want their children to do better than they did, right?
Mm.
So that tends to be kind of a common theme. And in this case, she just like wants her daughter to do so well and be taken seriously and not be made fun of and just get through this hard time of life that she recalls so clearly. Because high school and college or high school and junior high and college years can be tough, right? We all kind of carry different we become different people during that time. And so this character was very aware of that for her daughter and wanted to protect her from that and shelter her from that, but she does it in all the wrong ways.
Yes.
So it's, she does it in selfish ways. She does it in probably borderline abusive ways, definitely creating trauma. And it was fascinating to dive into. It was fun to film. And I can't wait for everyone to see it and see their reaction.
Well, she's a self-proclaimed lawnmower mom. As a mom yourself, what did you make of Elizabeth? Like, I can't, like, I feel like you're the opposite of her as a mom.
It's funny though, because in every character you have to find something you can relate to. I mean, I have, 2.5 teenagers right now. I have 12-year-old, 16-year-old, and 19-year-old. So I can relate to the teen drama of it all, and then thinking that you know better than they do. And even though they're on their own path, you think you can see down the road further than they can because you've been there and you've seen lots of people take lots of different paths, and you're trying to guide them to the path that will be kind of the least resistance or most successful or and so I could definitely relate with her overstepping her bounds, inserting herself in her child's life to try to protect her, for her own purposes, like thinking that she is protecting her daughter when really maybe she's coddling or she's just kind of really distancing herself from her daughter as opposed to connecting and understanding her daughter. She's trying to do everything she can to make her daughter turn out the way she wants her to. So I can relate to that in the craziest way. Like, my kids are older now. They have their own thing. One wants to quit the football team. One of them is kind of, should he go to college? Shouldn't he go to college? He wants to be an aviator, and I don't know what that path looks like. So trying to help them navigate those roads, and especially when they don't want it, that's the hardest part. Is like
Mhm.
they don't want your advice. What do you do? you
Yeah.
know so I can relate to all of that, and I was able to put some of that into Elizabeth and have her like snap. When she snaps.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, as you mentioned, you're a mom, one of your children is in aviation school or wanting to go to aviation school. How is that going?
Yeah, he is on his own path with aviation right now. And I don't know, college might still be out there for him, but I'm not sure because he has his own ideas of what he wants to do, and he's an adult. And I can only give him advice and hope he takes it. But if he doesn't, what do I do? So but he's got a really amazing career path ahead of him.
Mhm.
It's just the interesting thing about aviation is it's not the normal path, right? There's so many different ways to do it. You can go into cargo, you can go into air traffic control. Like there's
Mhm.
just so many different paths, and I feel like it's not the typical like you have to go to college to do this. So he's on his own journey, and I'm just trying to guide him along.
I love that. I love that you're supportive of him and his journey. I also was going to ask, what has been your favorite part about watching your children grow up? I feel like there's probably so many milestones, and like seeing them enter this new phase of their life must be so exciting.
It's interesting having these more adult conversations. But I do miss the phase of them like getting off the school bus and running into my arms and after school and being like, "Mommy," and then running around the house. But now it's more like they're like, "Hey," as they stomp through the house and go hide in their room and either do homework or video games, who knows. But so I feel like I do these what I kind of call like drive-by hellos with my kids. They're like walking through the house and I'm like, "Hey, I need you to sign this form. And did you tell your teacher? And did you hand her the gift?" Like as they're running through and they're like, "Mom, leave me alone, leave me alone." So, but it is kind of fun because now like we're planning a big summer vacation and they get to help me plan it. Like where did they want to go? And the 12-year-old was like, "Well, I want to go to Japan because I love Godzilla and noodles." So I'm like, "All right, let's look into going to Japan." So it's kind of fun to be able to um be more friendly with them, I
Mhm.
guess.
I do co-sign Japan. That is a very fun place to go. That's a
I've
great
never
idea.
been. Like Asia has just we've been all over Africa and all over like the Pacific South. Like I mean, we just the South Pacific and like we have not. We've done like a lot of Europe. We have not done Asia, so I'm like kind of excited myself because it's an area I haven't been to, and we have a big map on our wall in our kitchen,
Mhm.
and we put pins in new places we go. So we've been like
Oh,
looking at like where is it empty? Like we have to go more to South America and we have to go more to Asia.
that's so fun. I love the map idea. I think I might need to do that.
It's
Um,
awesome. It just makes you can stand there and stare and be like, where do I want to go next? Where have I been? Where do I want to go back to? What do I want to try now? Like,
I love that. I love that. I also have to say, your show, Sabrina, basically raised me. It made my childhood. I would always tune in to TGIF. So I have to ask, if there was ever a reboot or a sequel with the original cast, would you be interested?
yeah, I would be interested. I don't know what that would look like. And like right now, there's just a lot of red tape around that
Mhm.
and who owns it, how do we do it, and all that. So, who would write it? Who'd be the showrunner? What's the plan? There's so many what ifs. But unfortunately, it is all wrapped up in like red tape
Yeah.
stuff, like with the networks and studios, and I don't really. It's really not in the plans.
Okay. But
But
if
no,
you
I love that the show still lives on. People are so, um, they're internationally like love the show and generationally, it just seems to be living on. I couldn't be prouder of that. Like I'm working right now. I'm on set. I'm in my trailer for a movie I'm producing for Netflix called Merry Little Xmas, and
Mhm.
it stars like Alicia Silverstone and Jamila Jamil's in it too. So like she's a big fan of mine. So it's been fun to like kind of hear her stories about like growing up in like London and like how she was a fan of Clarissa and Sabrina. And so it's so fun to like be able to hear people's stories from all over the world and what the show meant to them.
it truly, like, I feel like raised a generation of people. Like, that show was so iconic, I feel. And I also am wondering, if you could envision where your version of Sabrina would be today, do you think she would still be married to Harvey? That's how I like to imagine her. Like,
You
they
have to imagine it that way, right? Like you can't imagine it any other way. No, they're divorced. She's been married 3 other times. It never worked out.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
no, I think she has to be with Harvey, right? Like that's she drove off on the motorcycle in a wedding dress that wasn't meant for him. And their soul stones rolled together and let you know that they are soulmates. So I mean, the magic tells them they have to be together. They have to be together. So I do think Sabrina and Harvey are together, have some kids, and what kind of chaos ensues after that, and how the aunties come around, and is there a new cat or a dog
I
or?
feel like Salem still has to be alive because Salem wasn't really a cat.
Yeah, but I feel like the new kids would need like their own pet, like a bearded dragon or
Okay.
and maybe I'm just putting that on because that's what my kids have, but
Oh my gosh.
some kind of I don't know, like I feel like in Game of Thrones they each have their own wolf, right? Like something along those lines.
That's so fun. Another iconic project of yours that I love was Drive Me Crazy, which celebrated its 25th anniversary last year, which is just wild to think about. Do you have any favorite memories from that, or do you keep in touch with any of the cast?
It's funny. I don't really keep in touch with the cast. I mean, I've been in touch with Adrian over the years, but that was a really fun one. It was fun for me for a number of reasons. Um, it was the first time I really made a big feature film, a big budget feature film over months and months and months. And we filmed in Utah, but we were shooting Sabrina in LA on weekdays, and we were shooting that on weekends and hiatuses. So I mean, I think there was like 52 days straight. I didn't have a day off, and there was I wouldn't sleep on Sunday nights. I would go straight from set Monday morning. We would wrap, and I would get on a plane and go directly to the set on Sabrina in LA. And it was just like this constant. It was busy, but it was the right time in my life to be busy. I didn't have a family. I was young. I could do it. I was in good shape. So I feel like I have so many wonderful memories, especially because I worked with an acting coach on that one. And it's probably the first time in my career that I mean, I'd been in the business at that point 20 years, and I had an acting coach. And it was the first time I really took acting lessons, and like worked on a character and developed her and drilled scene after scene. And like just, me and Adrian or me and my coach or me by myself, like just really working on the material to make it better. But I also really liked it because a movie that I loved growing up was Patrick Dempsey in Can't Buy Me Love. And it had a similar flair because it's like the kind of dorky guy goes with like the popular girl, and they try to like trick everyone into thinking they're together. And so it reminded me of that, and I love that aspect of it.
Well, it paid off because I forced my mom to take me to the theater like 5 times when I was growing up to see that movie. It was like one of my favorites. It was really good.
Oh, you're the reason we did so well in the box office. Thank you.
I was there. I was there. I also saw that you posted a super cute photo celebrating Danica McKellar's birthday along with your other friends, Candace and Bethany Joy Lenz. It looked like such a great time. Could you share more about the celebration as well as your friendship? Because it must be so special to have those kind of bonds.
Yeah, what's interesting is like this Nashville community, because I live in Nashville
Mhm.
and Danica moved there a few years ago, and she doesn't live there, but she's in and out, and there's this great community of artists, not only country singers as we know, but a lot of actors have moved there. A
Mhm.
lot of people that were looking for more of a kind of country, alternative to Hollywood, and just a little more space, and the area seems to really um uh like attract people like that. And so it's really fun to kind of be in this situation with my friends, and like and to, like I've known Danica and Candace and whatnot, but now all of a sudden I'm spending a lot of time with them. So it's really fun. And Danica and I see each other every Wednesday, and we go to lunches here and there, and our husbands are friends, and so it's really fun.